WANEP organized 2023-17 General Assembly Fellows Conference and Partners Forum with the theme ECOWAS Vision for 2050 towards an enhanced state-citizens relations in West Africa. WANEP agreed to accompany ECOWAS in the decentralization of early warning and early response mechanism through training on data curation, as well as providing mentorship to enable them manage the early warning centers.
Efforts to actualize peace and security in West Africa particularly, but also in Africa in general. So this conference we are having is the West Africa Peace Building Fellows Conference, which one is instituted at the 20th anniversary of its existence, but also together with the General Assembly of the Network as well as the Partners Forum. So our focus for this year's conference is on state-citizens relationship in West Africa. And if you look at how this has deteriorated over time, citizens no longer feel they have confidence in the state policies, and therefore they are asking a lot of questions, and some of these questions are being asked by youth under the age of 25, and they are asking it now on the streets because there is limited framework and mechanism through which they can ask those questions and get answers from their states. And so we are organizing it to interrogate how have we felt with regards to state-citizens relationship, and also asking from these experts from different walks of life, the UN system, the ECOWAS system, the African Union system, the academia, civil actors, women groups, youth groups, and so on and so forth. We are asking them to interrogate that relationship and how we can, as citizens, relate better, trust the state better, improve the trust that exists between the state and citizens, and that way we can make meaningful contribution in the stability of West Africa and also in the development of the region in line with the ECOWAS Vision 2050. So, the first thing is that at the dawn of democracy in West Africa, everybody thought that democracy would come with the largesse of citizens' welfare. And people are now questioning the social contracts that exist between citizens and the state. On one hand, the state is supposed to provide citizens' security and welfare, but the state citizens are now providing private security, which means they are questioning the sovereignty and the authority of the state to provide that security. They are now providing themselves with the environment for welfare and the good things of life. So they are now asking, where are the dividends of democracy? In doing that, some people are asking the question the wrong way, including challenging the sovereignty of the state. And by so doing, forming a non-state actors group and now challenging the authority of the state through violent extremism, through separatist movements, and so on and so forth. So they are expressing those frustrations on the streets. And that is why, within the context of this conference, we are asking, what is the kind of framework that we can develop to interrogate this relationship and see whether we can bring a process of dialogue, even if it is WANEP acting as an interlocutor between the state and the citizens, so that we cannot be on the same page. Okay. At the end of the day, West Africa is our region. Okay. And it doesn't matter how many people are living in the region, at the end of the day, we will remain in the region. And we are more proud as West Africans than anywhere else we feel uncomfortable or comfortable.
But currently,
I don't think that there is anything wrong with democracy. I think the problem is the kind of participatory democracy we are practicing. It is not enough to be in power. Power must lead to something. It's a social contract. Power must lead to something, and sometimes not as designed by the states. The citizens should be able to make input with regard to what do we want. What kind of Ghana do we want? What kind of West Africa do we want? The woman in the community should be comfortable as the man or the woman in Accra. And therefore, there needs to be conversation on how to develop the rural areas, how to make people settle in the rural areas, how to make people part and parcel of security. The era of state-centric security is over. Every country that is progressing today is focusing on human security, which is about citizens' welfare. But the more, and that's the paradox, the more you focus on state security, which is provision of arms and ammunition and military habits, the more the citizens feel insecure. But the more you focus on citizens' welfare, the more the citizens and the state will feel secure. So it's a choice that our states need to make.
So moving
The citizens of West Africa are integrating more than the state. I think state policies is making it difficult for citizens to integrate. People want, again, a Ghanaian want to go to Ghana to have a weekend. What is the means of travel?
right.
Everybody cannot afford air. The roads are not safe. We don't have rails. So the mechanisms for integration is not there by the state. The urge of the citizens is that we have a borderless community. But what about state policy? What makes you an indigene in Ghana may not make you an indigene in Nigeria. And the idea, how most of the regional economic communities that I know progress, is that they dismantle the wall, merge their policies in such a way that you can live in France and work any other place in Europe. Okay? But that is not happening. So I believe that the citizens of West Africa, and that's why it is important to begin to put this pressure and begin to start this conversation. The citizens of West Africa, their mindset is integration. The policies within West Africa states, the different member states of ECOWAS, is making it difficult for integration to take place is efficient. We did not create those laws. In West Africa, for example, you know how some group of persons gathered in Berlin in 1814 and divided Africa. There are many cousins of yours as a Ghanaian who are in Togo, not for their choice, but just because a border was created. Africa should be a borderless single market for the people of Africa. And because the colonial people disintegrated this integration, will not make our leaders to remain where we are. It is important that we begin a conversation on how to make Africa a one single market. That's the only way Africa can progress. And by so doing, we begin to challenge ourselves to produce that which we need and stop the level of importation, sometimes stupid importations that we do. How we can improve state-citizen relationships and how all the key stakeholders, multi-diversity stakeholders, can begin to work together with our member states, with our intergovernmental organizations, to improve the level of trust that exists between citizens and the government.
Like a retrospection of citizens and state relations over the years, and what needs to be done now in order to strengthen democracy in the region through this partnership between citizens and their government, and then to strengthen the social contract between them, because we see a lot of challenges across the region where the state, in many instances, the state is running away from people, retreating from the periphery towards the center, and then leaving the space for nefarious actors, including terrorism. So how do we bring the state back to the people through services? How do we empower young people who constitute more than 65% of our population, for example? And then when you talk about the security environment, with terrorism threatening the Central Sahel today, almost occupying 70% of some of the member states like Burkina Faso, and then threatening the coastal countries, in particular. How do we come together, ECOWAS, member states, and civil society, to push back the terrorist menace, for example? And in particular, how do we work together in order to push the agenda Vision 2050 of ECOWAS, which foresees a very prosperous, peaceful, and good neighborly West Africa, which works for its population. This is the agenda ECOWAS has set itself till 2050, and we are working gradually toward that. So the main purpose of this meeting is how do we increase civil society agency in the realization of this vision.
Thank you for watching Nation One TV. Kindly subscribe for more news updates.